Okay, listen. I need to get into the Royal Palace, and you have the special talent that can come in handy.
Sure, I'm always happy to help out.
Alright, cool. Still, since we're breaking into the Royal Palace, we still need to get ourselves a map for the Canterlot Underground. Do you know where I can find one?
I might just know the right cat for the job.
Are you sure he'd have the plans we need?
Gray is so much about Canterlot, he'd probably tell you where every stairbox is.
Okay, but do you... Tricky? Tricky, where'd you go?
Not to mention, I'm used to getting into his house. Also, I anticipated this.
Anticipate what?
Ow! What the hell? What just happened? Get it off! Get it off!
What the?
I can't see shit with this on me!
Hey, this box was designed for actual foxes.
Who said that? Who the dick said that? That wasn't Tricky! Whoever you are, get this fucking thing off of me, please! I may accidentally break something else! Also, I think I got a concussion from busting into a wall.
Hey, why did Goldie run into the trap I laid out for you instead of just ringing the bell?
Because it's funnier.
I heard that, asshole! This box has holes too, you know. Wait, are these stairs? Oh god! Ow! Oh god! Ow! Jeez, my leg! Oh, my wing! Ow! Oh, crap, that's gonna hurt tomorrow morning.
Even better than expected.
If he breaks anything, I'm charging you for it. Now let me up before he hurts himself even more.
Put it on my tab, but yeah, Keep will be furious if we break her toy.
I can still hear you, shithead! Just get this off of me!
Gah! You do not want to be in there.
Later.
So you guys want to break into the Royal Palace?
Yes, and I thought we could use a cat burglar who knows the place inside out.
I'm not a burglar. I'm a gentle cat.
But a cat. Close enough. Also, haven't you heard of gentleman thieves? You can be like Lupin Arsene, only more furry.
Okay. Anyway, what do you want?
Right, last month I visited the Royal Palace and had a game night with Luna. I let her borrow my SNES, but she never gave it back. I miss my Jenny so much right now, and I still haven't finished Chrono Trigger yet. What? Don't judge me!
Alright. What's in it for us?
I didn't think of that. What do you guys have in mind? Money? Dinner? Both money and a dinner? Okay, that didn't sound too good. That sounds like a fanfic shipping idea right there.
How about an elaborate collab review with a couple of cameos and you edit it?
If it's going on my channel and we'll meet there. Plus, that'll reduce any further damages. Sorry about the damage, by the way, Gray.
Oh, don't worry. Tricky will take care of that. Although I could use some Starbucks espresso.
Oh, awesome! Another coffee fan? Cool! So, what episode do you want us to tackle on? Fuck yeah, this episode was awesome. I don't normally exaggerate my excitement like that, but compared to Slice of Life, this was a greater milestone. Sparkle 7 is a clever and beautiful way to tell a narrative for each of the main 6 to shine equally with callback outfits, callback characters, and some new liberties, all coherently connected together to tell a sibling rivalry story.
Well, Slice of Life was a pretty unique episode. It wasn't about the main 6 or even really telling one story. Sure, everything was connected by the wedding to some degree, but in general it was more a collection of funny scenes focusing on fan favorite characters, which up to this point lacked any canon personality. The best way to compare these two episodes is to describe Slice of Life as a love letter to the fans by making it about all the characters the fandom turned into something special, even though they only existed to fill out crowd shots, and Sparkle 7 as a love letter to the cast, the characters, and their VAs that made us fall in love with the show in the first place.
Okay, that's fair. Comparatively though, I think there's something more personal here when there's dedication to the staff themselves as they had ideas that they wanted to apply in the show. Seeing that the story was provided by the main 6 voice actors, yes, Kathy Westlick counts, it seems like the staff was under jurisdictions until they managed to find an opportunity to take on their own direction for once.
This is what I meant. Slice of Life was made for the fans. Sparkle 7 was written for the VAs.
And I agree with that. What I find more fascinating about this episode is that the writers took input from the VAs and managed to implement into one coherent story. And on a side note, I'm a huge fan of heist stories. From Ocean series to Ant-Man to The Bank, I like to see these stories go from plan to realization, usually with a bunch of things going wrong in the process. This is also one of the few scenarios that can implement multiple, seemingly unconnected pieces together, so taking this as a core was a brilliant decision.
Funnily enough, this is not the first time this franchise makes a reference to the Oceans franchise. The Nightmare Nights miniseries actually dealt with Luna and a couple of former villains breaking into a casino. One of the alternate cover arts for the first issue even features Luna's 5 as a subtitle. It's a fun miniseries and I would recommend it.
With this setup, it gives a legitimately effective moment for all the characters equally, both narrative and comedically. Starting off with is Twilight and her rivalry connections with Shining Armor. As we know little of him in the past, we did know that there was a connection, and with siblings, there would be a sense of competition. Additionally, I love that Spike was established as part of the family when Twilight was still young, though that does make me wonder how she managed her time with her family in Celestia. Whatever the case is, it makes me appreciate Shining more as he shows a good competitive nature to Twilight.
Well, I think people tend to read a little bit too much into the relationship between Celestia and Twilight at times. While Celestia kept a close eye on Twilight, she studied alongside everyone else at Celestia School for Gifted Unicorns, and the school is located in Canterlot, probably in walking distance from Twilight's home. So yeah, she had a normal school day and went home afterwards. I do appreciate that we finally got some clarity on how Spike was raised. People often assume that Twilight's relationship to him was more of a motherly nature, which frankly always seemed a bit odd to me considering that she was still a preteen herself when he hatched. So I think a sibling relationship works better. I mean, Spike grows slower than the pony, but he isn't that much younger than she is. If we put Twilight into her mid-20s, which I sort of do, Spike would be a young adult by pony standards.
Technically, Spike went through puberty last season, so I believe he should be more like in his older teens, but I do agree that he is and pretty much has always been to Twilight like a younger brother. I also enjoyed that the episode actually subtly confirms it with scenes of Spike interacting with Twilight and Shining, them sharing apples with him, even wanting to participate but obviously being too young. That's more or less how a real interaction between siblings in their age brackets would work.
This is a great foreshadow to how all of this concludes along with the interactions between the sisters.
I said we could do it ourselves, but some ponies are a bit stubborn.
Just comes to show that the pride of an older sibling can bite them quite back in the ass.
But here's the question, Luna. If you are so great at setting up defenses, why didn't you do it after you and your sister were kidnapped by some random changelings?
I guess 6 times the charm?
Given Twilight's circumstances, her willingness to have her friends help her provides each of the other characters, preceded by Rarity. Her detective uniform is great to see again, as well as seeing Dash be her assistant. Supposedly. But it's nice to see these two paired together again like Rarity investigates. Additionally, we see Zephyr Breeze again, which I can sense some Zephyr haters grunting. But I like Zephyr's character. He's unlikable, sure, but there's some hysterical charm on top of Rarity's plan to... I'm gonna get shit for this. Having Dash dressed in style. Though, I'll be honest, I dig that dress. Very Meg-like from Hercules.
Wanna bet QG Rainbow has Zephyr blocked on every possible social media? And while on the subject, couldn't they at least give him a fitting armor? I swear, he looks like Luke Evans in the live-action Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, I keep imagining that the armor is going to slip right off.
Well, I think the fact that Zephyr Breeze made it into the Royal Guard says a lot about their quality standards. Just imagine Firebrand having the job interview with him.
What do you mean you studied to be a hairstylist? Why would you want to enlist at the Royal Guard now?
Besides that, I think it was actually kinda nice to see Zephyr again. He is perhaps one of the few examples of cringe comedy done right. Interestingly enough, this scene was actually requested by Rainbow's VA, Ashley Ball, since she wanted to work with Ryan Bell again. So if you didn't like the scene, you know who to blame.
It's good you're finally being honest with your feelings for me, Rainbows.
I rather not, so let's just move on. And one of the more interesting ideas comes from AJ and her mysterious country singer persona of Apple Cord. Anyone else remember in the very early stages of the fandom during season 1, when it was questioned if Pinkie's backstory on the rock farm was real or not? I'm getting the very same kind of vibe from this. Since AJ is not a good liar, it puts to question if she could actually have done this before the series started and feels embarrassed, or if a rainbow just caught her telling a good lie. That's for the fandom to decide. Also, props for taking references from old school Dolly Parton.
The way I see it, it can be a lie, but the reason why it never bothers me is because I've seen AJ as a musician before. I've seen her play guitar alongside Rah Rah in the main attraction, and a bit of her skills were shown in the musical Apples to the Core from Pinkie Apple Pie. Plus, you can't keep having Jay be honest every single time. That would otherwise be making her one-dimensional with no challenges to face.
I'm still not sure how the fuck you can play the guitar with hooves.
Octavia would like to have a word with you.
Frankly, the only reason why I'm remotely inclined to accept this story as true is because Ashley Ball requested AJ to have a secret background story. Making that story fake would kinda cheapen that request. If it is true, it certainly puts a new light on AJ's relationship with Rara though. And even if it is false, it still gives us a decent idea of the age difference between AJ and Apple Bloom, since she has no reason to lie about that one. AJ and Big Mac appear similar to how they appeared in Where the Apple Lies, while Apple Bloom is a baby. So I suppose it is possible that she simply wasn't born yet during the events of Where the Apple Lies, explaining her absence. Probably overthinking the timeline again though.
Every time I encounter these kinds of plot holes, I just remember that Starlight essentially beat up the timeline for his lunch money.
And a spoiled child got off scot-free when teasing a crippled Pegasus. And the sky is blue. Anyways, the character who manages to bridge smoothly to the central focus for Spike is Fluttershy. The spy idea was pretty hysterical yet unexpected. But then again, Fluttershy was put on a mission to sneak out of Ponyville in Magic Duel, as it's a reference by her animal outfit. I don't really have a problem with this, except it just reminds me of when she was written backwards by having her cower away despite her development in Hurricane Fluttershy. But she is put to better use here as she's facing the unexpected consequences as she had Spike fail to get the crown. Though side note, having one of the geese where the crown is just seems unfair from Shining Armor.
Well, not really, considering they are supposed to guard the crown. Besides that though, I think it was kinda interesting that Fluttershy made a reference to Castlevania. I don't think that it was necessary to explain why Fluttershy doesn't like closed spaces like this, but I appreciate the somewhat random continuity note anyway.
About the geese themselves, considering that their honking is supposed to serve as an alarm, it could be a clever reference to the historical Battle of Aliyah, where Roman soldiers were warned by a flock of honking geese that the Gauls are about to flank them.
But the biggest selling point for me was Spike's interaction with Fluttershy when they were in the pit.
I was always excited to be a part of Twilight's and Shining Armor's rivalry, like I was their little brother. But they never really thought of me that way.
I know they both have a special place in their heart for you, but sibling dynamics are hard, trust me.
Yeah, Fluttershy speaks the truth here. I already mentioned that one when I collab with Firebrand on Brotherhooves Social, but being part of a sibling triplet can be rather hard. Sometimes you feel like the third wheel because your siblings just seems to get along better with each other than with you. This doesn't mean that they love you any less, sometimes they just can relate to each other more. It can be frustrating, but hey, they appreciate you regardless. Something that this episode portrayed very well at the end when Spike gets named Sibling Supreme.
Don't forget the very expression Luna has in that shot, spawning out a very fun meme.
Though I do agree that this would have been the perfect opportunity to make Tiberius canon. But hey, we got ogres and oubliettes, so I shouldn't complain.
So because of the lead up to Spike winning and the unfortunate way he was written in the show's entirety, this ending is very rewarding for him as he's given love and appreciation. Spike was always written as a joke or a punching bag, most notably in Season 4, but when it comes to his success, it's not only a breath of fresh air, but it's very relieving of Spike getting what he deserves.
This is another great thing about heist storylines. When you think one thing is happening, suddenly you encounter a turnaround where you see the plan behind the scenes unfold and the mastermind comes out victorious. And this time, it's Spike. This episode shows the best aspects of his character, from being observant, able to read others, and even being a bit manipulative. Also, the fact he got Luna on his side exposed a vulnerability that someone on the inside could be working with the potential attacker. It doesn't have to be someone as high as position as Luna, just someone on the right position at the right time.
Like all the role guards, for example, they kinda lack discipline. I mean, Shining Armor was supposed to tighten up security and expected that Pinkie Pie would distract them with a party. So why did that still work? Like really, he anticipated everything Twilight would do to get the crown, yet it all went smoothly for them. They should have never been able to get this far, because 9 out of 10 times you won't be waiting in the throne room expecting someone to break in. You did a shit job, Shining. And while we are at it, everything they went through the second time around, except maybe for the distraction, was kinda pointless anyway. They could have gone through the window like Fluttershy and Spike did the first time around. That only failed because Flutters was surprised by that one goose. That shouldn't be a problem the second time.
Well, from how Spike described it as Shining let them get in, I'm under the impression that they could have been stopped at any point, but he just let them go this far so he could go to Twilight.
I guess it could refer to what I mentioned earlier, that the pride of an older sibling can bite you back in the ass. So one final character I didn't talk about until now was Pinkie Pie. Her idea of being in space was cute, yet there wasn't much of a contribution to the mission other than the accident of the hot air balloon.
Well, Andrea Lippman wanted Pinkie to go to space. That was kinda hard to write into the story, I suppose.
Well, since we now know that she does love space, I can't really complain about that. I love me some astronomy. So, keep riding that Saturn ring, Pinkie. Just don't fall into its massive gravitational pull, you'll immediately regret it.
I guess this is a good point to wrap things up then. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. Really, the few complaints I have are very, very petty and shouldn't be taken too seriously. It's a fun episode, the plot is surprisingly coherent considering that it is based on some random ideas suggested by the VAs of the main 6 and Spike. And seeing that the 200th episode somehow turned out to be a stealth Spike episode is kinda heartwarming. That poor dragon often gets more shit than he deserves, so seeing that he steals the big episode is kinda awesome. Even though this is technically episode 199. They pushed it to episode 200 by including the best gift ever into the episode count. But even if we do that, best gift ever is as long as a 2-parter, so shouldn't we count it as 2 episodes? Making this episode 201? Yeah, I'm not sure what to think of this.
I think you're thinking a bit too hard about it. Like I said before, I love a good heist movie, and this is one of the better heist plots I can think of the recent time. Just like in a proper heist where you have multiple elements that can go wrong or don't fit with each other, if you put them together just in the right way, you can get your hands on a real treasure. This being composed of multiple ideas, references, and characters built up for 200 episodes, I consider worthy of such status.
I don't take back what I said when comparing it to Slice of Life. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Slice of Life immensely as it was a huge love letter to the fans. But Sparkle 7 felt more rewarding as it established a great moment for each character, development for Spike, Zephyr's moment with Dash was hilarious, as well as having the smallest cameo Maud Pie contributing. And the overall cleverness of the journey behind it not only makes this one of my favorite episodes for this last season, but one of my favorite episodes in the entire show. Definitely an episode I recommend, even to newcomers. Okay guys, now let's save Jenny. Here's my plan. As soon as we approach the gates of the Canterlot Palace...
20 minutes later...
You didn't actually think that would work, did you? Not with me in charge. Can't wait for my promotion.
Your plan sucked. That wasn't very foxy of you, you know?
Oh, shut up!
You both shut up, I demand my phone call.
With who?
I swear to God, if Master Code is our lawyer...
Oh, Luna, please, no.
No. Keyframe and I are bailing you out.
Also, I have your SNES.
Wait, what?
You did it for nothing?
So Luna didn't have Jenny this whole time? Where the hell was it then?
In your closet! You got so drunk that you forgot she returned it to you last month. I know this because I actually asked her like any reasonable pony would.
I did ask her. I sent her a letter through Spike, but she never replied back to me in a week.
Then she was busy with the new security system. I thought you knew that. Moral of the story here, don't expect you to know things. Jesus!
I'm very sorry to put you all through this hell.
Oh, don't worry, Goldie Bear. I'm gonna put you through hell. Let's go watch the live-action Lion King movie. IMAX 4D. Ooh, you can really see all those details of non-emotion. Come along now, Goldie. Move it!
God, I hate that remake. It's so lifeless.
So, do I still get my promotion?
Probably not, honey.
Oh, don't worry, Goldie Bear. I'm gonna put you through hell. Let's go watch the live-action Lion King movie.
No! I'm sorry. I had to improvise that.
No, that's perfect.